Now that we fixed the little hole in the base, the little rock damage, we're good to go to put some wax on the board. I'm gonna show you two processes. The first one is with your regular wax iron. I have some all-weather or all-temperature wax. In this case, this one is beaver wax, made in here in Squamish. So basically what you're gonna do is that my iron is at 142 Celsius. You don't want the temperature to be too high. If there's some smoke, it's because it's too high and then it's not good. So you just wanted to put some drip. Here I'm gonna go from nose to tail, just like this. Okay, and then like I said, I'm gonna show you another technique after that with a different tool. Now that it's dripped, it's ready to just use the iron on it, and then you just go from nose to tail, just like this. Don't go right and left and up and down and whatsoever. Just go that way. That's it. And then you can do another pass if you want. This one could be a bit faster, but as you can see, the wax is well laid out on the board, just like this. That's it. In the case of this board, it's a white board. You will probably do another pass in the middle and another one there, and you should be fine. Again, I'm telling you, don't go like this. You're not ironing your jeans or your pants or it's a board. You go nose to tail. For the last 3 seasons, I've been using something new, which is infrared waxer. What's good about the infrared is that you basically melt the wax on the base, and then it saves you from having to scrape. And I'll show you right away. So here we go. This is the infrared. So you wanted to basically warm up the wax, and then what you do as you put it on the base here, you just crayon like this, and then you're adding a little bit of heat to the base, and then you just go from one side to another, and here we go. See? So it goes deeper in the base, does a way better job, and what's also what I want to say, the two most important advantage is that you use less wax, and then you don't have to scrape. So when you're done at the end, you don't have to scrape. It's a little longer process, obviously, because you have to heat up the base, but it's a way better process. Just like this, see? Wax is melting, adding more here, and like I said, you just crayon. You can kind of see the difference between the two. And then you can also see that it's a longer process to get the wax into the board. It's a longer process, but don't forget, you don't have to scrape. And as I talk, I realize that if you don't scrape, it's also less mess in your little shop. You probably saw that I'm using that what used to be a snowboard box underneath. So I've seen this on YouTube, I guess, somewhere. One guy was using it, and I was like, well, that's a smart idea. And then all the dirt, all the even when I file the edge, it's all going into the box, and I just have to use my vacuum at the end and clean it up. So like I said, a little bit longer as the process, but way better. I know that you're gonna have question. The usual is, how often should I wax? Every day. Every day you go to the mountain, you should wax, because the snow is different. Because you know the wax is probably good like for one day. So, and then the more wax you're gonna add to your base, the faster your board will go, the faster it will take also when it's gonna be time to re-wax the following day. So this is, you can see the stripe here. This is what I did in using the regular iron here. Goes all the way down. And then on the other side it's a bit narrower, but you know, that's the stripe. I could have gone wider, just went that way because of the block that I was using. It's pretty much just the width of the block. You can see that the layer of wax might be a little less, but you're gonna see the difference when we go through the following step in the process. You want the wax to stay there for, I don't know, an hour, a couple hours, you know. Sometimes I wax the night and I scrape in the morning. So just let it dry out, let it become cold. Don't scrape when it's warm. You know, if you feel it, if you touch it and it's still warm, not a good idea to scrape. Just wait for the wax to come at the temperature of the room. It's time to scrape. The wax is cooler, our temperature went down, and now we need to scrape. So I'm using a little plexi here. You want the plexi to be sharpened. In this case it is. And then you just go nose to tail. Nose to tail. Just like this. Boom. And this is all the surplus of wax that we add up with the iron. And you just push it down, just like this. There you go. Boom. You can do another pass from nose to tail. There you go. So with the regular iron, this is what I scraped from. So obviously it is what it is. When I was talking earlier about the fact that by using the infrared you're using less wax, that's a good example right there. I don't have to do that process with the use of the infrared, so the next step will be to brush it. Okay, the final step, you want to brush your wax. You want the wax to be, you know, super clean and as good as possible on your base. First, I'm using a nylon brush. I use the drill here, so it's gonna make some noise. Just get ready for it. So you can already see that this is the wax that we did with the regular iron. Here we use the infrared. When you compare both sides, they're about the same. Again, the difference here is that we didn't have to scrape. The second step will be to use another brush, and I'm using in this case it's called horse air brush. It's a bit softer, and that will do a really nice finishing on the board, on the base, sorry. So same thing, same kind of a process. Here we go. Here we go. So when you look at both sides, and it's interesting because in the middle there's no wax, so we can see the difference, but basically there's not much difference between the two after they've been brushed. Again, it's just a comparison of using a regular iron and then the infrared. The final product, I guess, if I can put it that way, is quite the same, just using less wax, no scraping. So I'd like to add one step maybe to the process, especially at the end of the season, springtime, when it's dirty, when the snow is dirty, your board could be a little bit more dirty, and then you may want to use this type of brush, and this one is brass. Okay, so by using the brass on your base, again, you always wanted to go nose to tail. That's what I did with my roller as well, nose to tail. And then by brushing in that way, you're gonna remove more dirt from the base. So that could be also a good step to do in your process. Like I said, especially this time of the year, April, May, when it's dirty outside.